Welcome to this week's episode of So It's Not Just Me. I'm your host, Joanna, and today we are going to be talking about fitness and fitness journeys and what it's like to get into a weight loss journey. Some people know, some people don't. I was over £300 for a long time and lost £140, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I have put some of that weight back on because America, is portions. But I wanted to talk to somebody who was also or had been on a weight loss journey and made something more of just looking after herself and now looks after other people too. So with that, I would like to introduce Hayleah, who's my guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
So I'm Hayleah. I'm a personal trainer, fitness coach, and Group X instructor in the UK, here in Doncaster. And yeah, sort of, as you mentioned, it's something I've recently got into PTing and stuff, but it's all kind of come from my own sort of fitness and well-being journey and stuff over probably the last 6 or 7 years, to be honest. So
What was it that first got you into your weight loss journey and your fitness journey?
So we sort of did it as a family a little bit. So
Okay.
my mum, bless her, she has lost, this was a while back now, but she lost a massive 10 stone. I know you
Wow.
guys you work in pounds and stuff, don't you? And stuff, so I don't know what
Yes.
it equates to.
So well, that's roughly what I lost. So
Oh, okay.
10 stone is around £140.
Yeah, she lost 10 stone. And we were all a little bit sort of not particularly healthy as a family. And she joined the gym, she started going to classes, and I think she was maybe 3/4 of the way through that, losing that 10 stone, when she sort of dragged me along to a fitness class with her, and I'm not gonna lie, forced me into it. And then yeah, it just kind of went from there, to be honest.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. So I didn't at first. So obviously I think at the time I was 19, I think. So obviously your mum asking you to go to a fitness class over, you're a little bit like, oh, okay, what's it? It's gonna be
Yes.
a bunch of like older women. It's gonna be legs, mums, and toms, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was, and I was like, actually, it's not bad. My sister came as well, and it was nice to just kind of the three of us like actually just spend a bit of time together. To be honest, so I didn't mind it. Um, but then as she sort of lost a little bit weight and started getting a little bit fitter, she started doing Les Mills classes. I know that is big in the States as well, so I don't know if you've heard of them. And then she dragged me along to one of those with her. And then that's where it all kind of really sort of, I did really enjoy it, and it sort of took off from there.
So how long did it take from that first lesson to you thinking, I want to make a career out of this?
Oh, so to be fair, I never. So at the time, so when my mum sort of dragged me along to these classes, I was actually at university. I was at the University of Sheffield, studying zoology,
Oh, okay.
and I was a little bit miserable. I wasn't enjoying it. Didn't do very well on my exams, and I wanted to drop out. So alongside doing that, I was working at McDonald's part time, and I'd done that from being 16. And I actually really really loved the job that I had at McDonald's. So I left university, started working for McDonald's full time, and then my mum started taking me along to these classes. And I was like, well, actually, now that I'm not studying and I'm just working, I've got a bit more free time to kind of go and do a bit more. So I started doing sort of 2 classes a night instead of one. I started going 5 days a week. I lost the weight. And it wasn't until I think maybe we'd been doing it 3 years, I think. I'd been participating in the classes when one of the instructors said to me, sort of acknowledged the fact that he'd noticed I'd lost loads of weight and stuff and was a lot fitter and everything, and sort of said to me, do you know what? I think you'd make a really good instructor. And at the time, I was a little bit like, oh, no, 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 like, no, thank you. I have, and I still am a little bit, I've always been a little bit shy. So the thought of like doing that and standing in front of a room of people, I was like, absolutely not. But I'd just left university. I was a little bit unsure with sort of like what I was doing. I just knew that I enjoyed the job that I had at McDonald's, and I was just happy with that. So I thought, actually, if there was ever a time where I was going to throw myself out there and try something a little bit different, maybe this was it. So yeah, I think it was probably about 3 years. from sort of that beginning point to then having that conversation with him.
Nice. I think that if somebody said to me, "Hey, come and host this class," whatever it was, I'd be absolutely mortified to even step through that door, and I'd have like complete, oh, imposter syndrome or something. I
Yeah,
just,
yeah, I did, and I
yeah,
remember like I it took at first I was like, no, absolutely not. And then he kept bringing it up and kept bringing it up every time I came to the class and stuff. And like I just said, I was a little bit unsure of what I was doing. And I think the biggest thing was like, I'd lost all this weight. So I'd lost the weight at this point. I'd lost the 7 stone. And I kind of feeling a little bit like, I don't really know who I am anymore. I've dropped out of uni. I've lost all this weight. I've got this new hobby that's in the gym that I never ever thought because at school I wasn't interested in sports. I'd always been a bit of a bigger girl and a bit of a bigger kid. And so I was feeling a little bit like, I don't know who I am anymore and I don't know what I'm doing. And so I kind of just took that and run with it a little bit and thought, throw caution to the wind and let's try it and see what happens.
it's really nice as well when somebody actually acknowledges your success and like an
Hmm.
achievement that you've reached. Because sometimes I found when I did lose the weight first time that although I'd lost it, I didn't believe it, and I
Yeah.
just thought, okay, I'm just working out, I'm just losing a little bit of weight, and didn't really like. I saw the number, but
Hmm.
I still couldn't see it for other people to say how good I'd done or how great I'd looked or whatever, and saw the commitment. That's when it really like hit home for me.
Yeah. I think there's a huge, and I stand by this now all these years later, um, gap in the fitness industry between acknowledging people's sort of like physical transformations, but then not sort of understanding the impact mentally that like kind of comes with that. Because like you say, you are your own worst critic and you don't actually sometimes realize that you've done it or what you're doing and stuff until other people start and say, oh, you're looking really well, you're looking, and things like that. And yeah, that instructor addressing it was a little bit like, oh yeah, I've done something here. Like maybe I could, do something else as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
When you decided to do the fitness full time, how did that come about? What was the thoughts behind that?
So I qualified as a Les Mills instructor in 2019.
Okay.
So the biggest thing for any like group fitness instructor is you want your own classes. So I started off just covering other people's classes around working full time in hospitality. But I always wanted my own. And after I'd been qualified for 9 months, it was just under a year, we opened up a brand new JD Gyms here in Doncaster, and there were auditions taking place for permanent classes. So again, it was another instructor who said to me, "You need to get your ass down to this audition, and you need your own classes. Like you do really well and stuff." And I didn't want to go because I've never not it wasn't competitive, but we were all sort of there's only so many slots on a timetable in a gym kind of thing. So we were all sort of competing against each other. And I've never put myself in that sort of position where I've been judged or assessed or, gone up against anyone. So um I went and I was fortunate enough to be offered these permanent classes at the JD Gyms when it opened. So I taught 4 classes there. So 2 on a Tuesday night, 2 on a Wednesday night for 5 years alongside working full time in hospitality. And then last year, I was struggling a little bit with like my own sort of nutrition and stuff.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to book a nutrition course just for my own sort of knowledge of I'm training a lot here. I do have a sort of I always not part-time job, but I always called it like just a hobby that pays me some pocket
Right.
money is what it was kind of thing. So I decided I want to put this nutrition course, but to access that you have to do a level 3 personal training qualification. So I thought, all right then, well I'll do it. It's it's learning. It's not going to hurt, is it? Kind of thing. So I bought these courses. I did these courses. People got wind of that I was doing it and started asking me, "Oh, are you offering personal training and stuff?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm doing the course, but I'm not going to do anything with it. Like I'm just doing it for my own benefit, kind of thing." And then I started to kind of really dislike the job in hospitality. It's a lot of weekend
Right.
work, it's a lot of late hours, it's unsociable hours, and I just thought I don't really want to be doing this anymore. So I thought there's a bit of a demand here. People are wanting me to kind of do it. My class participants were coming to me saying, "We love your classes, but I'd love to work with you one on one a little bit more." I'd started pushing social media a little bit more, so the people in my classes were starting to know about my story a little bit, and were starting to come to me and say, "I'd really love to work with you." So then in December last year, I quit my full time job and thought, right, okay, let's just do this and see if it works.
Nice. So this is obviously a very random question. Is it the JD Sports that used to be like the TV electronics store
I'm
up
not
in
sure.
near Sandal Park?
I'm not sure.
Kind of
it's
around the
it's the
back of
JD, sort
kind
of
of
like
near a
Wheatley Hall Road.
McDonald's.
So it is the clothing brand, the fitness brand.
Yeah, no, I
The
used to go to
the
the
stores.
JD gym. I went
Oh,
to
you
the
mean
one that
like where it
opened.
is?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's near the McDonald's. Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought,
that's what.
do you know
Yeah,
what? I used to go to that gym. So when we started talking, I kind of recognized you, and I didn't know why. I thought it was just because I was like seeing you on social media, and I'm like, wait a minute. When you
probably.
said JD Gyms, I'm like, do you know
Yeah,
what?
I've had the classes there. So I taught the very first classes on the evening that we opened. So I have had
Right.
those classes there. It'll be 6 years this January that I've had those classes there every night. So yeah,
I
probably.
absolutely loved that gym. I only stopped going because of COVID, and
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
I loved that gym. It was great. It was like the best gym I've ever been to. So
It's one of
yeah,
the. I
that's
also teach for our local council gyms. So I
okay.
teach at a leisure centre as well. But yeah, JD, the vibes there are really good. The participants there are really great. They're great at the other gym as well, but it's a completely different sort of group of people, kind of
Yeah,
thing. And I think those ones at JD, whether that's because they were the very first ones I ever got that were my own, they'll always sort of be my sort of hold a little special place, I think.
I think that I found that one. It wasn't intimidating.
Mm.
I think because it was new, it wasn't
Yeah,
intimidating, and because everyone going in was new to that gym, that particular gym. So that was, I think that's why I enjoyed it as well, a bit more
yeah,
than some others. I wasn't like an old timer who'd been there forever sort of thing. So that made it a
yeah,
bit easier to go to. So
yeah.
maybe it's just that. I don't know. What do you think? Which do you prefer? So you're doing your personal training and you're doing classes now, is that right?
So I teach 2, 4, 6 classes a week, and then a PT, one-to-one clients, alongside that as well. Yeah.
Do you have a preference which you prefer to do, or do you just enjoy it all?
I think the group fitness side of stuff is probably my passion. I'd like to kind of potentially one day work for Les Mills themselves and sort of work training with them and go into that route a little bit more. I think it's because when I lost my weight and stuff and did that, I never had the help of a PT or anything like that. I did it just through attending the classes and
Yeah.
sorting out my nutrition myself. So I'm very passionate on how great group fitness can be. But at the same time, I understand it's not for everyone. Being in a room full of 30 people and all of you sweating and moving together
Yeah.
can be a little bit overwhelming. And I completely understand that. And that's what I love about the one-to-one stuff, as much is that, you build a relationship with them clients a lot more so than the people in the classes because it is one-to-one, you're spending time together. But I do think that if I had to pick, it would be the classes because just rocking up on a Wednesday night for 2 hours and just pouring in sweat with everyone while the music's
Yeah.
like basing through the speakers, it's yeah.
What kind of classes is it that you teach?
So at the minute I teach Les Mills, so I teach body attack, body combat, body pump. So body attack is an aerobics inspired workout. So it's like lots of plyometric training, agility work. It's a lot of running, a lot of jumping. Is the way I describe it to everyone.
Right.
Body combat is a martial arts inspired workout. So everything's choreographed to music. We get given the choreography, we go away, we learn it, and then that's what we rock up in the class and teach. So body combat's like martial arts inspired, bit of kickboxing, bit of Muay Thai, boxing, but it's all non-contact as well. And then body pump is weights based. So again, choreographed to music, and a lot of it's barbell work. But then recently, I've started teaching 2 circuit classes a week at JD, and those I didn't expect to enjoy, because up until that point, I'd only taught the Les Mills. So you, with the Les Mills, like I said, you're given it, you learn it, you go away and you deliver it. Doing the circuit stuff, it was like, oh, hold on, I have to come up with this. I have to, I have to plan this workout, pick the playlist, pick the music. And I thought I was going to hate it, but actually, I kind of enjoy having that sort of creativity with those classes a little bit more. And it's run in a different way where I can get involved in different ways. So the sort of relationship I have with the participants in those classes are a little bit different to the Les Mills stuff. So I do a good mixed bag of a few different things, I think I would say.
Definitely keeping it, excuse me, keeping it busy for yourself as well. I guess if you're doing
Yes.
the same thing every single day, you're going to get not tired of it, but you're going to get to a point where you, oh, this again sort of thing. It's going to be a chore. But if you've got all these different ones that you're doing, it sounds great.
Yeah.
So, do you how would you like describe your coaching style?
Oh, if do you know what? If you were to ask me, and if you were to ask the people in my class, you'd probably get a very different response. I think I'm very kind of to the point. We're here to do a job. We're here to get it done, and that's that. And people either love that or they hate that. I kind of usually say to the guys in the class, the classes are anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes or an hour. It depends on what it is, and different gyms run different formats. And I'm very much kind of, it's 45 minutes out of your day. That's it. So
Yeah.
I want your attention and your commitment for those 45 minutes, and that's it, kind of thing. I am very hands-on. I am very like get stuck in. So like with the Les Mills stuff, we do the whole workout with them, from start to finish. And with the circuit classes, I get really involved with them as well. So my coaching's very kind of passionate, I would say.
Okay.
I do really get involved. I do push them, and they love that. Sometimes it's not for everyone, and everyone I have before had people say it's a bit much, but every instructor is different. Even though like with the Les Mills stuff, we teach the same thing, the way we deliver it is different.
Right.
But yeah, if you were to ask the guys in my class, they'd probably say I'm a bit bossy and I'm a bit mean, but they keep coming back, so it can't be that bad, can
Can't be that
it?
bad. No. No.
Exactly.
I think that's what I need. I need somebody who can. I don't want somebody shouting and yelling in my
Yeah.
face constantly, but I need somebody who is passionate to G me on, I guess.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm not very sort of like drill sergeant, but I
Yeah.
think I have a lot of respect for them in the class because of the way that I push them, but I get involved, and they see me pushing myself, and then they have that respect for you and think, okay, right, okay, I can
Yeah.
give you a little bit more here and stuff. And I do have fun with them. I do try really hard to build a relationship with the people in my classes. Like sometimes we can have, I think the studio holds 32 people when it's full.
Okay.
But the circuit class can take 40 when it's full. So when you're sort of bobbing around and stuff, it's a lot of people to try and faces to remember, names to try and remember, who's told you if they're going on holiday next week or what they did this weekend, and to ask about their kids and stuff. But I do really try and make an effort to build a bit of a relationship with the people in my class. And then when I'm teaching, we can have a laugh, who you can have a bit of banter with. And my mum and my sister come to my classes as well. And that kind of helps because they will talk to people in the class for me a little bit, and they know that
Okay.
that's my mum and that's my sister. And so it's a very nice sort of little community that I've built with everyone. So yeah, it's nice.
I think that's the main thing as well, is building that safe space and that
Hmm.
community for people, because it is daunting, like you say, going in that first class. It's so daunting sometimes. Like I don't think I've ever done a class because it's always been too intimidating for me. I'm
Yeah.
happy to go to the gym, but going to
Hmm.
the classes, like even now, I've been looking at some thinking maybe I should, but it's just so nerve wracking for people. So
Yeah.
creating that safe space and that environment where people are comfortable is is the best thing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
obviously, you doing that, people are going to talk about it. Then that's the word of mouth that you need to get your classes full. I'm sure your classes are full anyway, but the to make people believe in your classes as well. I guess
Yeah.
that's we've never heard of this person before, but she's running a class. How can I trust her? Well, all these people say how good she is. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
it's really
think I've
nice.
learned over the years as well that, like, especially with classes, for example, people are not always coming for any sort of physical results. They're not coming to necessarily lose the weight. They're not coming to get fitter. They're not coming to get stronger. I would say probably 80% of the time they just want you to make them feel good.
Yeah,
They're coming because, they enjoy being in that group environment. They're going to talk to someone else that they've probably met 2 weeks ago when they've come to the class. They're going to have a little giggle at me singing down the microphone while I'm doing it, or trying to get them to dance, or whatever I'm doing.
yeah,
And like in Body Attack, we do a lot of like running and clapping, and sort of we shout and we cheer and we whoop. And I've learned over the years, when I'm stood at the front and I'm looking back at the class, you're just there to make them smile as much as you are
yeah,
to kind of give them a workout. And I think that helps as well. Once they realize that they can just come with that expectation of, I'm just coming to feel better for 45 minutes, it takes that anxiety away a little bit that you were talking about yourself sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to find. So you mentioned that you do the local classes as well for the local council. What kind of thing does that involve?
So it's just the Les Mills stuff again,
Oh,
but I
just the
just
same.
teach it. Yeah, exactly the same, but it's a leisure centre that I teach that. So it's a council-run centre. So the participants there, it's completely different clientele to what I have down at JD,
Right.
and it's nice because between working at those two different gyms and then PTing. I've started doing like community days recently, where I've started trying to get everyone together a little bit and kind of
Okay.
expand it beyond just the walls of JD and get the others involved and stuff. So yeah, it's the classes are the same. But yeah, it's just a different group of people and stuff with that one.
And are your community days, are they open to anyone kind of thing? Is that
Yeah, so originally it started off, well, I had the idea to do it just for my one-to-one PT clients. And then I thought, actually, without the guys in my classes having turned up to my classes for the last 5 years, I wouldn't have the business that I've got, and I wouldn't have that. So actually I owe a little bit back to them to kind of get them involved and stuff. So then I opened it up to them. And then I opened it up to the guys at the leisure centre where I work at. And then I had people following me on social media that were like, I don't actually know you, but I live in Doncaster and I follow you on Instagram. And actually, I'd like to come as well. And I was like, okay, then. So then people started bringing the mums, the dogs, the cousins, the kids. And actually, so now it's just become, I don't know who's going to turn up when I do them, but that makes it nice as well.
so what do they involve? What kind of thing is happening with your community days?
So we've done a few different things. So we did the first one in May this year, and we did about a 13K walk.
Oh,
So I
nice.
wanted to do something that was obviously around exercise and stuff, but not that it was as inaccessible to sort of some people and stuff. So I didn't want to do a class. I didn't want to do a workout. I didn't want to go for a run, because I said that's not going to appeal to everyone. So we did a walk, and then we stopped and we had coffee and cake afterwards, because a lot of the time, like the people in my classes, it's what I was saying earlier about sort of trying to chat to people. It's hard because I am there to do a job and I'm busy doing that job. And,
Yeah.
half hour before class, I'm preparing myself, I'm warming up myself, I'm going through my choreography. So I was like, actually, I want an opportunity to just sit down with these people that I've seen for 5 years, and find out a little bit about them and give them a chance to sort of find out a bit about me. So we did a walk in May, and then in August we did a 5K run, because then I wanted to do something that was a little bit more on the side of fitness. And then 2 weeks ago we did another 10K walk, and then that's it for this year. I've not planned any more yet, but I
Nice.
definitely will for next year.
Do you have anything planned already for next year, or is it still in the
Well, so
works?
I think we'll probably do some walks again, because they're the ones that people seem to love the most. It's not too strenuous, and you can chat and socialise while you're doing it. Definitely want to get another run in, just because it keeps me accountable with the running. To be fair, so I'm like, if I'm hosting this run, then I better be able to run it, so it keeps me going. But then I think sort of towards the summer, I'd like to do something a bit more fun and funky. I want to host like a sports day,
Oh, that'd be
or
fun.
do, yeah, and get everyone down and get everyone to bring some food, bring some drinks, and you can hire out the athletics track at the Keep Moat and stuff, and
Oh,
just have a bit of
nice.
a laugh and stuff. So yeah, a few of them have mentioned to me about going and doing like an inflatable 5K run, where they've got the big bouncy castles and the blow up
Yeah.
obstacle courses and stuff. So I've got a few things in mind, but I just need to actually sit and decide what we're doing and when.
Do you find it difficult to keep yourself accountable for your fitness?
Um, I get asked this quite a lot, to be fair. No, I think because I love to be able to deliver the classes. Obviously, you need to be able to do them, and I really enjoy teaching the classes, and I take great pride in what I deliver and the quality of my teaching and stuff. So I know that to be able to turn up and perform like that, because it is what we do in an essence, I've got to train outside of that. A good instructor once said to me that we train to teach, we don't teach to train. And I've always sort of held that yes, I teach these 6 classes a week, but they are not my workouts. It's not about me. It's about everybody else in that room. I'm not aiming to, squat with more than I did last week. I'm not aiming for, if someone else in the corner needs me to bring it down a level for them, then I'll come down a level. Whereas if someone else
Right.
at the front needs me to come up a level to push them, I'll bring it up a level. So it does get tough sometimes because you get to the days and you're like, well, I've got a class to teach later, but I need to train. So I've got to train this morning. So a lot of days I'm sort of doubling up workouts. And at the
Right.
minute I'm training for a HYROX. So there's been quite a few days where I'm actually tripling sort of workouts to get everything in to do it. But I think it's the guys in my classes that keep me going. I know that they enjoy coming, and and like I said, take a lot of pride in sort of delivering those classes. So I always get my arse in gear and get it done. And I always say to people, the reason I got into this as a job and lost the weight and everything is because I enjoy training.
Right.
That's the whole reason, because I enjoy that hour to myself to switch off from. I'm not thinking about the class. I'm not thinking about my clients and what they need. I'm thinking about me and pushing myself and getting a good sweat on. So, I do, when I sit and look at my diary for the week, that is something that I do really prioritize, making sure I've got that time, 6 times
Yeah.
a week to train as well.
You just mentioned you're doing the high rocks.
Hmm.
I know nothing about this. I know that
Okay,
you're doing one, but I don't really know
right.
what one is. So can you just explain what it involves?
So it's very so since I lost the weight and I got into fitness and stuff, I am quite competitive. So I've always fancied doing something. But I'm not a runner. I hate running. So I was like, I'm not signing up for any 10Ks, 15Ks, nothing like that. No, thank you. And I enjoy lifting weights, but not to the extent of like, CrossFit and things like that. So I've
Right.
always felt a little bit like there's nothing for me that suits me. Whereas a lot of the Les Mills stuff, it's functional based fitness. So it's that combination of weight training and cardio, and it's sort of hybrid based training. So HYROX it's been around for a good few years now, I think. But basically it's an 8 kilometer run that's broken down into 1 kilometer splits at a time. And then there's 8
Okay.
stations in between those 1 kilometer runs. So you run a kilometer and then you do 1,000 meters on ski erg. You run a kilometer, you do the sled push with 100 kilos on for a set amount of distance. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Then you run a kilometer, you pull the sled. You run a kilometer, you do so many meters of burpee broad jumps. You run a kilometer, you do so many meters of walking lunges with 10 kilos. And it's all different things and like that. And then it's basically how quickly can you get around it and get a good time. So it's that functional fitness that I enjoy training myself in and that I base my classes around. So when I sort of first heard about it, there was a lady in one of my classes who actually asked me to do it with her, because
Okay.
you can do it as solos or you can do it as doubles in a pair. And she asked me to be her partner. Um, and at first, again, it's like the whole instructor thing again. I was like, absolutely not. No. At the time, I'd never even run before. I was like, I don't run. No, I don't do that. I was like, I can't run. And she was like, you can run. You 100% can run. She was like, I've watched you teach. I've watched you work out. Like, you can run. And I was like, the roles have reversed it because you come to my classes and here you are, like,
Yeah.
encouraging me and stuff. And then I sort of become friends with her a little bit through chatting in the class. And I thought, do you know what? Okay. Because this was as I'd gone into PT and everything full time. So a little bit like the instructor getting into that again, I was a bit like, well, actually, I seem to be doing things at the minute that I didn't think I'd be doing anyway. So let's just go for it. So I did a doubles with her. We did it as a pair, and then now next weekend, I'm doing it again, but as a solos on my own. So
How did you do first time? Was it difficult as you thought it was going to be, or did you smash it? Like, how did you do?
so so we smashed it. We did, and I came away from it. So with the doubles, you both have to run the whole 8K, but when it
Okay,
comes to the stations, you can split it however you want. So for example, you can go with your partner, and I could do every station and my partner could just walk at the side of me, but you have to do the run. But
right.
we agreed that we would split the stations 50-50 because we both wanted to give it a good effort. So we did. But we did really well. And we were aiming for an hour and a half to do it in, and we got an hour and 17. So we were, yeah, and that was with us running
That's
an
really good.
extra, yeah, and we ran an extra 1 kilometre by mistake as well, included in that. So yeah, so actually we should have been around the 110 mark if we'd have not messed that up. But we came away from it, and again, I've never done anything like that at all. I was so nervous, and I actually think I held back a little bit because of that. I think it was that
Right.
fear of not knowing how my body was going to respond, not knowing if I could do it. I actually feel like I reserved quite a bit. And when we finished it, I said to Katie, who was my partner, I was like, do you know what? I don't think I can honestly say that I gave that everything that I had to give. And she was like, well, that's great for you because I'm like absolutely like done in. And I was like, no, I think I could have dug a bit deeper. So that's what made me go, do you know what? I want to do this again, but do it on my own and really leave nothing in the tank and see how far I can push myself. So it'll be interesting next weekend when I get there.
Have you given yourself a target time?
I have, but I'm not going to share because I
No,
don't
that's
want
fine.
to.
That's fine.
Everyone in my class and stuff, everyone in my classes and everyone in the gym, my clients and stuff, have been like, "What are you going for? What are you going for?" And I've said to them, "I've got a time in mind, but I just it's a massive achievement for me just even going and just even being
Yeah.
there and being in the arena. Like if I look back at me 6 years ago, who was 7 stone heavier and everything, I would have, well, even last year, I'd have never have had the confidence to step foot in an environment like that, even though I'd
Yeah.
been teaching classes for 5 years. So I don't want to put the pressure of the time on it and it ruin the experience a little bit,
Yeah.
if I don't come away with that. But I have said if I don't get what I've got in mind, I may book another for early next year and give it another go. I'll see. See what
Or maybe
happens.
you'll just enjoy it so much you'll do it every time.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Another PB, another PB. You just, when do you stop?
Yeah. Do you think that the training that you've done for the Les Mills has helped you prepare for the HYROX, with it being so many different things that you do?
Yeah, 100%. It's like I said, Les Mills it's that functional based fitness anyway. So it's that mixture between weight training and cardio. And that is how I've always trained from day one. So my body's used to that mixture. I've got a good foundation of both. The thing with teaching is all of the time I teach two classes back to back. So at the council, the leisure centre gyms where I teach two 1 hour classes back to back. I have 5 minutes to switch over. And at JD gyms, it's 2 45 minutes. So what people don't realise is I'm basically working out for 2 hours straight. Those 5 minutes in the middle are not. It's like turn the mic off, have a drink of water, wipe your face, right, go again. And because with the Les Mills stuff, we do the workout, we do every rep with the class, we do every movement with the class. And I use good weight. I don't, sort of go light. I use a good weight to push myself. But also that means I can demonstrate good technique and things like that. But then also we're talking through it all while we're doing it. So while we're smashing out the burpees and the tuck jumps, I'm coaching and talking over the top of that. And so over the years, I've kind of learned without realizing how to sort of really control my heart rate and my breathing, to make sure that you can go for 2 hours and not sound like Darth Vader down the mic and have the class like sort of laughing at you, thinking, "Oh my goodness, she's on her arse here." And the HYROX is the average time that people complete it in is 2 hours. So in my
Right.
head, I'm a little bit like, okay, well, it's two classes. That's my day job.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I've got to do. in
That's a really
theory.
good way of looking at it as well, though, to help
Yeah,
keep you that motivation. So that's a good
yeah,
way of looking at it.
yeah. I hope so.
Do you have any advice for anybody who is either just starting their fitness journey or is thinking about doing something extra or pushing themselves further?
Just do it. Just don't overthink it and just do it. I've learned, um, because if I'd have never have booked that Les Mills training all those, nearly 6 years ago now, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah,
But I'm a big believer in just any opportunity that comes your way, just say yes and just try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? And when it comes to fitness and it comes to my clients, and I get people inquiring more with the PT stuff, I'll get people inquiring and they're like, I'm too nervous. I'm too, the gym's intimidating. I get people, they'll message me on Instagram and go, your classes look great. I really want to come, but I'm so scared. I'm like, just get it. Just get it. Like, I
yeah,
know it's easier said than done, but just get it. And you've just got to try it. You've just got to try it because you don't know what you're going to enjoy. And with fitness, there's so much you can do. You can, like I say, you can do functional based fitness. You can do Pilates. You can do reformer Pilates. You can swim. You can walk. You can hike. You can run. And I always say to everyone, when people are sort of wanting to get into fitness and stuff, try everything. Try
yeah.
everything, because at the end of the day, if it's not something you enjoy, if you don't find a way to move your body that you enjoy, you're not going to stick to it.
No,
And for me, it was the classes. I enjoyed the classes, and that's where I am now. But like I said to you in the beginning, I appreciate that's not for everybody. And if lane swimming is what you want to do, aquafit, if you just want to walk your dog every evening, if you want to bike, at the end of the day, movement's movement, isn't it? So
yeah.
yeah, just get out there, do it, and try as much as you can.
When I was back in Doncaster, I used to get the dog and go for a walk around. So I lived in Edlinton, and I
Mm,
used to walk around Edlinton Woods, and I was out there for a good few hours. Like
yeah,
I think I used to do anywhere between 2 and 5 miles every day, just walk and walk and walk, and I didn't even realize I was doing it, but it was like it was one of those times where my head just went empty and it was
yeah,
just so nice and so relaxing. And then before I knew it, the weight was dropping off. And then before I knew it, I was doing online workouts because then COVID hit.
yeah.
So I couldn't get to the gym as much because I was going to the gym in the mornings or after work and then walking the dog afterwards. So, once COVID hit, I was like, right, okay, let's get an online workout because I felt fitter. And it's just that first little bit. And once you get that little bit of confidence, like you say, once you get into the gym or through the door or on a machine
Hmm.
or in a class, then that's it. You just got that first bit of confidence and you've done it once, you can do it again.
Hmm. And as well, like, I think gyms have a lot of misconceptions that they are big scary places, and I can understand why people feel like that, because I part of the reason why I lost all the weight through classes was because there was no way I was setting foot in a gym.
Right.
To me, in a weird way, the classes felt the better option of the two. But I think it's because my mum was there, my sister was there, we could hide at the back. So that felt better for me. But I always say to people, like, ask for help.
Yeah.
I've said to people before when they've messaged me on Instagram, because I work shifts at the gym as well, so I work on the gym floor. So I've said to people before who've messaged me on Instagram, like, what's your advice for this? I don't know where to start in the gym. I'm like, these are the hours that I'm on the gym floor. Just come in and just ask me, and I'll spend an hour with you.
Yeah.
It's nothing to me to show you how to use a couple of bits of kit so that you know that you're using them properly. You've got the confidence to do
Yeah.
it. And like same with the classes, I always say when I get new people come in, I'm very clear that I'm going to be bitten and bobbing around the room. I'm not going to be here to just help you. I've got 40 other people in this room that I need to think about. But I'll always say to them, ask the other guys in the class. Like, just ask them. Just if you forget what you're doing or you're unsure of what you're doing, just say to the person next to you, do you remember what she said? Because I don't. And they will help you. I'm yet to see any interaction in a gym where someone's turned someone away, because they've asked them, how do I use this? What do I
Yeah.
do with that? But yeah, don't be afraid to just ask someone.
And everyone who walked through a gym door started at nothing. Everyone didn't know what they was doing the first time they walked in anyway. So
Hmm.
it, you're not special because you don't know what you're doing. If
No,
anything,
no.
you know,
Yeah,
nobody knew what they was doing. So it's a boat everybody has been in at some
yeah.
capacity. So it's nothing to be worried about for sure.
No, absolutely not.
Thank you so much for coming to chat with me.
No,
I
thank
think you've
you.
gone through like more questions than I thought we would have gone through. Is there anything you want to add before I let you go?
I don't think so, not really, no.
Great. Well, thank you. Anyone who's still listening, thank you for being here. And until next time.